Tell me how you come by it.
I bought it at an auction about 6 months ago.
You bought it in auction?
I don't normally buy silver, but that was an absolute bargain. I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for it, but it was cheap. For Georgian silver, it's very cheap.
So, you fancy yourself as a bit of a dealer?
Not really. I like... Yeah, I suppose I do, actually. Yeah.
Going to the auctions, now coming to sell it?
I couldn't make a living out of it, I think, but maybe once or twice a year can make a little profit on something. Yeah.
Well, it's not easy to get a living in our business at the moment, that's for certain. But it's a very nice thing. George III, let's turn it upside down. Marked underneath, 1771, Robert Preston. And it should have, if we take the top off here, there should be another mark in there. And
Yeah,
as you can
exactly
see,
the same. Yeah.
we have the mark there.
Yeah.
Slightly warm, but we can just make out the initials so we know that this is the genuine top
Yeah.
to the bottom, because a lot of these get lost or damaged and they replace them.
Right.
So they take the hallmark off and it then becomes really a bit of a marriage. But
Right.
this is totally genuine.
I know it's a shaker mark, but what is actually a shaker for, do you think?
Well, you know, there are different trains of thought. Some people believe it's for pepper.
Right.
Some people believe it's for sugar, and other people believe it's for sand. Because where you would write in the old days using the ink, you'd needed to dry the ink so it wouldn't smudge. So they used to put it over. So really, it's just down to the money. So shall I put some on the table?
Yes, please.
Bought it at an auction. Dealer on my hand. Let's have a look. 20, 40, 60, £80.
I wouldn't describe that as a sterling offer.
Oh, sterling offer. Oh dear. Do I want it? Do I want to put this in stock with the other one I've got, which I haven't sold?
Well, if you have two together, that'd make it more desirable.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, Ian. I'll put down another 20 to call it £100. I'll tell you what we do. Let's get David in and see what David thinks, yeah? I think it's a good idea.
We've got two valuations on this. It's Georgian silver. We've got something like a 120, 140, or 140, 180. Not the easiest thing in the world to sell silver at the moment, but it is smart, it is clean. In an ideal world, we'd like to see another 20 or 30 quid on that, but I'll leave you with our man here and see where you go.
Thank you, David.
I've actually got the identical caster at the moment, and I'm trading it for £120. So as you can see, there's 100 on the table.
Yeah.
I'm going to earn 10%,
Small margin.
20%, you know, no more than that. It's very small profit. So 100 on the table, what are we going to do, Ian?
It looks good on the table, £100.
It is good on the table.
I'd love more, but I'm going to take your offer.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
Ian went home with the £100 he wanted, but is he happy?
I would have liked a little bit more money, but all those £20 notes on the table were just a bit too tempting. I like money. Yeah!
Don't we all, Ian? Next, it's time to brush up on what seller Brenda's brought to Stuart Hofgartner's table. What do you think, Stuart?
I'm hoping they're libation cups, because if they are, they're 10, 20,000 a pair. You know, even a pair is special.
Well, my grandmother gave them to me and she said, keep hold of them. They'll probably be worth something one day.
Well, Brenda, is this going to be that day?
When I first saw these, I got very, very excited. They looked, at first glance, to be libation cups in rhino horn. Does that mean anything to you?
No.
A rhino horn, particularly libation cups, a drinking vessel, are very, very valuable. 10, 20,000 or more. But I'm sorry to say they're not. Okay, I can see them now much closer. They're actually soapstone, and I believe them to be probably brush pots, Chinese artists' brush pots. Can you tell me a bit about them, what you know, where they're from and so on?
Well, my grandmother gave them to me many years ago, and I think she got them from possibly her mother, or, you know, they've just been handed down. Yes.
So anybody out in the Orient in the past, that sort of era?
Not that I know of, no.
Late Victorian, say, might be 1900-ish. Might even be 1920s. It's very difficult. It didn't tend to sign them in any way to give it the date, but you usually tell a story, and if you look at these, you've got, I thought it was a dog or a fox, but it's probably a squirrel. And in one of them he started down below, and the next thing he's up here.
Yes.
The sad thing in a way about them is that they are damaged, but because it's quite a soft material, it's surprising because of their age, there's not more damage there.
That was like that when I got them.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So, old damage, we'll say, old damage, okay. I'll have a go at buying them, shall I? 20, 40, 60, 80 pounds. Oh, you don't like 80 pounds?
My daughter's getting married in October in America. I want the money to go over. I can't take those with me, I can take
No, that's true, and I thought you were going to say to make a nice present for her, but she
No,
wouldn't
no.
want a damaged brush pot, would she now, let's be honest? Would I want a damaged brush pot?
Yes.
Yes, she says firmly. 120 on the table. Long face still.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Now, Brenda, I've been watching from the sidelines here. Now, the independent valuers are saying 100 to 150, which I think is realistic. So it's your call to make up your mind. But I'd be very happy to say that's a fair price.
How do you feel now?
Another 20.
Still that long face,
Yeah.
another 20 perhaps.
Squeeze it.
140. Okay,
Yes.
we got a deal. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, they didn't turn out to be the drinking pots worth thousands of pounds. But are you happy with the deal, Brenda?
Well, I had a bottom figure and a top figure in pounds. It's nearly at the top, so I'm quite happy with that.
I'm disappointed they weren't libation cups and they weren't rhino horn, but £140, I'm happy with that, yeah.
Oh, ever the optimist, Stuart. Find out later if he's still happy when it comes to making a profit. Now over to Corrie Jeffrey's table, where seller Patricia is offering a taste of the Orient with her kimono.
I'm actually hoping to get £100 or more, so I'm looking forward to the deal, to see how it goes.
Oh, style doesn't come cheap with this lady.
You wore this.
Yes.
Can you tell me when you wore it?
Well, I wore it when I was on holiday and I went to a fancy dress dance. It was actually my mother's, you see, and I borrowed it from her. My father was an officer in the Royal Navy and he brought it her back from the Far East.
So he would have brought it back when, in the early 30s, 20s?
I think it was the late 20s.
Late 20s.
Yes.
And this would actually make sense because this was probably made in Hong Kong.
All right.
So it's Chinese export, but it was made for Europeans. This is silk, embroidered and flossed silk, and it's in lovely condition because people didn't wear them.
No, it's just been kept in a box in the drawer. And I thought, well, what a shame, really, when somebody maybe could enjoy it.
So you finally decided to sell it?
I did, yes.
Let me see, let's put some money on the table and see how we get on. I'm going to put down 20, 40. I'm going to put £50 down. How do you feel about that, Patricia?
No, sorry.
Here's David.
Now, Patricia, I'm going to just tell you what I think about this. First of all, it is fabulous. Now, the independent value is, say, 80 to 100. The auctioneer has gone in very low. He said 60 to 80, because he's looking at this like you see all these kimonos which were produced over the last 30 or 40 years. This is something different. Look at the attention to detail on that. I love this dealer, she's fabulous, but I think that's a mean bid for what the article is, because I think the article is at least twice that, and if you bought it for twice that, you would be stealing it.
Well, that's me and my place. But for me, I don't really have the customer. I'm happy to put another 5 on the table, 55, but that really is my last offer. I'm really sorry.
No, sorry. I think it's worth more than that. And I think I'll take it to auction.
Well, I wish you the very best of luck at auction.
Thank you. Anyway, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
David liked it very much, and he thinks it's worth more than that.
David loved it. David loves it, somebody else is going to love it.
110, 120.
Let's just hope David's taste in ladies' fashion's right. It's off to the sale room.
Any advance on £130.
How lucky do you feel? Do you think it's going to sell?
I feel it could go either way.
Okay.
But I'm always a positive person, so, let's hope.
Okay. The reserve is 80. Is that a little bit too much, or will it get to the 80? We're about to find out. It's coming up now.
Bids of 55, 65, 75, £80.
They're at £80.
80. Sell away then, £80.
Okay, the gavel has gone down to £80.
Well,
Bit
I had
disappointed?
hoped it might fetch a little bit more.
Okay, now I hear what you're saying. You're taking home around £65, and that was the real deal.
Have you had it long?
I've had it for about 20 years.
And why are you here today with it?
Because it's stuck up in a wardrobe and it's not getting any use.
So did you buy her in a shop or?
I bought her at a car boot.
It's ready as a car boot. Okay, and do you know anything about her?
I know she's French, 1920s.
Well, I think she's lovely. If you turn her upside down, you can see where the lamp fitting goes in. That comes out, and the wire goes through the hole in the back. And I suppose, have you ever had her lit?
No, I haven't, no.
I assume she just sort of glows gently. She appears to be in perfect order, doesn't she? I love the colour. Love the colour. She's got marks on the base where she says Roby Paris made in France. Right. Okay. Suppose you want some money for her. Start with £100. How are we doing?
No.
Well, it's a good start, though.
It's a good start, yeah.
150.
Get in there.
170. Pretty colours.
No, not yet.
So where do you want to be?
A bit more than that.
We swap that for that. So you're now up to £200. What do you think?
Is that your final offer?
I think I'm going to stick with my 200.
Now, just before you answer that, let me just tell you what the independent valuers, what the auctioneers think, and what I think. 150 to 200 is one estimation, 2 to 3 is the other. I have to tell you the 2 to 3 I think is being adventurous. I think at £200 it's honest, it's fair, it's a strong offer, and my advice is this: never look a gift horse in the mouth, take your money and then let Jo either sell it or maybe keep it for the night she goes out in Newcastle.
So, you've heard David's advice.
I think we've got a deal.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
bringing it in. And now you can tell me what you paid for it.
I paid £1.50.
Oh, done, girl.
Well done indeed, Jane. That's a pretty spectacular profit.
I know she wanted it. I pushed her all the way, and I'm happy.
Across the room, Leslie's brought in a carriage clock on behalf of her mum. But how much is she hoping for?
Between 100 and 150. Hopefully 150.
Tony Gearing can't wait to get a closer look.
I am a little bit excited. It's in its box. I think I noticed that it's got curved brass, which is quite unusual, so hopefully it's a really good maker.
Well, let's see if Leslie gets what she wants for her mum.
And what have you brought in for me today?
Yeah, it belonged to my grandma.
Ah,
Still in its case.
let's have a look here, shall we? Little French number there. The French made probably most of the carriage clocks of the 19th and 20th century. Very good at it they were as well. Very fine movements, great timekeepers, great quality engineering. Also, I presume this comes up.
Yeah.
So that's... And this one comes up as well, yeah.
So it's like a display case.
Yeah, so well, you can see it in its case and see the time and keep out the sort of dust and air, and that's what we're trying to do, protect the movement, which is why the movement's all encased in its own airtight container. Oh, it's lovely. It's got its original case and its original key. Double-sided. One for the chime and one for the workings, so for the movement. Does it work?
Yeah.
It ticks along nicely?
Yeah.
Let's see what I can make you smile with out of here, shall we? I'm going to go 20, 40.
I'm not smiling.
I can see that. 60, 80, and that's got to get you smiling.
Not yet.
Just humming.
Yes. Not sure about that.
We'll go round it in at 100.
I think you could maybe do a little bit better because of all the things that you pointed out about having the case and the key.
But it is what it is. It's commercial, mass-produced. It's not any of the great makers. There's not even a maker's mark in it that I can see anywhere. So I'm going to stick with 100, but let's see what David has to say.
Well, I think what Tony says is right, but in some ways, when you think about it, if you were starting off and you were making your first purchase, you wouldn't be doing too badly if you bought this little carriage clock. The estimation in the sale room today is 100 to 150. And I would have thought it probably is worth 120, 130 quid in the sale room. It's probably worth another 20 quid. Now, in recent times, items like this haven't done well, but I think that is a clean, honest item, and people at the sale room, apart from the trade, retail people will recognise that and think, that's a clean little clock, and it's worth its money.
Thank you.
I'm going to go another 20 on that. It is absolutely a sweetie.
I think that's fair enough, to be honest. I think if you allow for the commission that you might get at the auction, then that's fair
And
enough.
hopefully I'll make a tenner.
Hopefully. But my mum will have to give me some commission, I think, for doing all this work for her.
See you and your mum, my darling. I'm
Thank
sure
you very
she will.
much.
No, thank you very much.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for coming in.
Got what's roughly the figure that I'd like. Yeah, I hope my mum's going to be happy with it too. I want a cocktail out of it at least.
Cheers to that, Leslie. Next up, Don has done his homework and is hoping that Henry Nichols might be the right dealer to buy his reproduction bronze horse.
Yeah, I've seen Henry on the programme previously, and he seems to be a very good dealer. He seems to give very fair prices, so I might have a chance of making a slight profit, maybe.
Henry likes the look of it, but will he be put off because it's a reproduction?
What an impressive piece we're looking at. It's decorative, it's a good subject. It's just a real shame that it's not right.
Watching on the sidelines to ensure fair play is the Duke and auctioneer Kevin Kendall.
What do you know about it?
Well, I've discovered it's not an original old bronze.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know much about it otherwise.
OK, well, you've hit the nail on the head, Don, to be honest.
Yeah.
As much as what we've got here is a really impressive piece of kit, it's got everything going for it. It's a polo subject, which is really popular. It is actually made of bronze. It's just a shame it is a reproduction. So the question is, where did you find such an impressive piece as this?
In a car boot sale.
A car boot?
Seriously.
I bet you thought you were onto a winner, didn't you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
If it was the real McCoy, I'd be putting down bundles of money onto the table.
I understand.
But it's not. So I'm going to put some money out and see if I can tempt you. But bear in mind that we can buy this sort of thing still today.
Now, Kevin, when this first came through the door, from about 100 yards, I thought, oh, what have we got here? As I drew closer to it, it then was apparent that what we have got is a modern reproduction bronze, perhaps of an old subject matter. As it is, as a decorative item, how have you valued this?
I think I put about a 150 to 200 estimate, purely on its aesthetic value.
Well, I feel the same, and the independent valuers, they've said 150, 200 pounds. Let's see what Henry says about it. There's a lot there for your money.
So, Don, let's put some money on the table. 20. 40. Don't worry, there's more coming. 60. £80. That's a very definite, very disappointed looking Don.
That's a no.
That's a definite no.
Sorry.
Okay. Let's go a little bit more. 100. How's that seem?
Keep going.
Keep going. I don't know, what does David think?
Well, Don, it's a difficult one. What we've got here is a fairly recent casting of a very dramatic, quite glamorous bronze. If this was a 19th century bronze by Bonheur or by one of the great Amulaire type bronze producers, we would be talking thousands. But £100 still doesn't sound a lot of money for a large bronze. So I'm going to say it's probably worth a bit more than that. You know if it's near what you paid or if it's a lot less. So I'm going to leave you with Henry.
Thank you, David. So we're at £100. Am I far away?
A little bit. Yeah.
A little bit, OK. Well, let's see if I tempt you a little bit more. 120. £140.
I'd like some more, please, Henry.
£140 is on the table, Kevin. No commission to pay. Can you do better in the sale room?
I think if I was the owner, I would actually be selling it now and cutting my losses.
OK. My advice would be the same. If he's paid more, maybe now's the time to get out of this object. Or, if he fancies a gamble, well, that's up to him.
To be honest, Don, I think that's where I want to be with it.
Yeah.
I think, for me, I've got to sell it on. David?
Henry's a very fair dealer. What did you pay for it? Can you declare? Because I have a feeling Henry isn't going to go much further anyway.
No, 200.
Okay.
200.
Fair enough. I think, first of all, you did exceptionally well to buy this for 200 in a retail situation because it is still quite an undertaking for that kind of money. Yeah. Our independent valuers say £150 to £200. If you go to auction, another person like yourself, Don, may say, that's a lot of bronze for the money, that is. I fancy a little dabble at that. So it may be worth a gamble to go to auction. There may be someone there that thinks, I can use that outside, or I don't mind it. It's a good visual object. So maybe someone will put down the extra money, but that's tempting.
So, Don, we've heard what David's got to say.
Yeah.
The gamble is yours. I mean, I think I'm where I want to be. I don't think I want to give any more money for it.
I think I've got to take a gamble, really, and go to auction with it.
I wish you the very best of luck, and I hope you get back more than it actually cost you. I really do. Don, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. He's explained everything to me and I can understand his reasons for the offer he's made on it. But I still think it's worth a bit more.
So Don's gambling on making his money back at auction, but has he made the right call?
We're creeping up to your £200 now.
Find out in a few minutes. Welcome back to Dickinson's Real Deal from Skipton in North Yorkshire. Before the break, Don turned down Henry's offer of £140 for his bronze statue.
Don't think I want to give any more money for it.
I think I've got to take a gamble, really, and go to auction with it.
Don's hoping he'll get back the £200 he paid. He's joined the Duke in the sale room where it's about to go under the gavel.
You sat down with our dealer on the dealer's day, Henry. He offered you 140, which would have shown you a loss. You decided against that.
Have a gamble.
Gambling here at the auction. Reserve is 150 quid. Is it going to make 150 or more? Let's find out.
So I will start the bidding with me at 150. 150 bid, 150, 160.
160, 170.
170, 170, 170, 80 anywhere. 170, 170 on commission only. Have you all done this time? Going to sell? 180.
180, just in time. We're creeping up to your £200 now.
190, 190, 190. 190, you're out behind the chair. I'm selling. Have you all done at 190?
It's just made 190, close to what you paid under the gavel, but when we deduct the commission, you're left with £155. You've got to go out now to that car boot sale, invest that £155 and try and get back your 200 quid.
Absolutely.
On the day, the real deal was 190, 155 to take home, real deal.